Let's now get around the table and have our discussion going now. Mr. Fagbande is Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. He is here, and good morning to you.
Good morning.
I think after elections, this is the first time I'm meeting you on a show, live show.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's long, my friend. Anyway, hope all is well.
God is good.
Okay. Mr. Afelmoni is a regular. He's former GJ president. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hope all is well.
The grace is sufficient.
Okay. Mr. Kojones, there's Nsafwa in your name, right?
Yes, Kojones Nsafwa Poku.
Nsafwa Poku, yes. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Yeah. I hope we could have the discussion back door on air.
Anyway. You said you have not seen him. You know, when we are Kasa, you know, when your mouth is full, you don't talk. That's why you've not seen him. When he comes here, he has to talk, but he's in the Numa.
But he's been talking anyway. That's that.
But not here, not here.
Oh, he's been talking on via Zoom.
Via Zoom?
Yeah.
But he hasn't been here.
No.
Yeah, but Zoom, no, to me, the two are not that.
He says there was a lot to be done.
He's right, though.
He's right.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to talk when you don't have to talk.
Because your mouth is full.
Well, whether your mouth is full, if you put water in your mouth is full. If there's too much sensitivity in your mouth is full. So the discretion is yours.
So my brother, before we go on, I think it's right we give happy birthday to the father of the land, President J. Kufuor's birthday today. 8 December.
Ah.
Yes, 8 December. So President Kufuor's birthday. So, Papa, I know you watch this show. Happy birthday from all of us to you.
Yeah.
We all join the chorus too.
Yes.
He's a great man.
Yeah, he's a great man.
Great man.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to the university with savings from his NYEP program.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we got employed, and then we could save money to go to the university.
He's the only sitting former president of the MPP who, I think this country, some way, somewhat, has a certain responsibility of love for. I mean, he's been a father figure. I would have wished that that can be said of all, but unfortunately that's not the case. We wish him a very happy birthday.
Yeah.
He's demonstrated maturity, love for this country, and he stood his ground as a statesman.
Yeah.
I remember when things were very bad under MPP, he was against it, but he was very modest.
Tactful.
Yeah, tactful in trying
very
to
diplomatic.
deal with it.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't, destroy his party. He shouldn't be seen as the one, destroying his own government. And so I think that he's been a man.
Remember how people describe him, very wise. And if you listen to that interview, you get to understand probably why he turned out the way he did.
But I think
his background.
In that interview, very candid in that interview.
Yeah, his training, really sort of molded him into the person he is today,
The Lord add more years to his life.
Amen.
Oh, yes, and
more life.
What I admire about him is that the only thing at his age is the surgery that doesn't make him walk. And even that he tries sometimes, because when he goes to Tumfo, Tumfo will be like, but Papa, why would you? Because he always wants to go and eat. And because his chair doesn't take him that far, he has to get up and go and do it. His hearing, his thoughts, his memory, sharp. Yeah. And I always pray that if I have that gene, may God bless me with that. Because at that age, and he's that sharp.
Was in the interview, the memory was...
No. It's if you are at that age, 87, I think, right?
Yeah. He's 86.
87, I think 86, 87.
And you could recall.
Eyesight, perfect.
Wow.
Hearing, perfect. Recognition. Oh, my brother, God has blessed that man.
Yeah. I love the answer to the question of, will you get married again? Who proposed one?
Delay is mischievous. I don't know where that thing got into that conversation.
America has no age barrier. So.
Anyway, okay, let's start with the OSP and matters arising because Martin Kpebu has again brought out an allegation that the OSP took some $40,000 from the former Minister of State in charge of Finance, Edu Buahini, when the charges were dropped. Now we are asking, is that fact? or fiction? Let me start from you, Wendy.
Well, I haven't been here in a while. I mean, I think that one, I was busy doing some things. Two, a number of reasons why I wasn't here. Let me apologize to our viewers. And let me review your proposal a bit. Today is yesterday was exactly 1 year.
1 year, yeah.
Of our winning election.
Yeah, I think we should have given you a happy anniversary.
Of course. And I think that it's just okay that I use this platform on behalf of the General Secretary, the National Chairman, who have not spoken yet, to, you know, on a day of yesterday was not an election. It was a national consensus to save this nation. Clearly, what was in place was nothing but public fraud that ought to be curtailed. And you had journalists, you have the police, you have the military, you have pregnant women, baby mothers, you have children, young men on the street to ensure vigilance. There was every indication that the MPP, led by President Akufo-Addo, wanted to rig the 2024 election. In fact, you have had pastors aiding that rig, you know, and I specifically talk about the one in Kumasi, Reverend Prophet Kusi. All of them. We can go into it. All of them tried to aid the
but if you mention his name, you need to tell us how he was doing that.
You know, the reason that I'm not a comfortable speaker is that I will go to the facts. I'll mention.
But he had prophesied that people were going to win.
All of these people.
That was his offense.
Has he resigned as a prophet? He's still in prophecy business.
That doesn't mean they were.
He's still in prophecy
business. Trying to aid.
There were other things he did that you don't know, leading to us recovering from printed ballot papers. Military was at some places put on standby to all of these. There was national vigilance. Our party people, Aleran Kamfal, fought for this. Today, we are in government. I think that there was nothing that could be compared to that national consensus of an election to safeguard this country. I have no regret. I am happy. I think that Ghanaians are happy. Even the MPP people are happy that their government is not in power. If they were in power,
Could you disagree?
If they were in power by now, Ghana would have been privatized to themselves. They would have shared it into pieces, just as they wanted to do. And so let me salute the people of Ghana, salute our party people. Some of them have been given national assignments. Some have not been given yet.
Some have been ignored.
There are many people from other places who have been acknowledged. Others have not been acknowledged yet. Of course, there is a general understanding that no government at any given time can holistically make everybody happy. It comes in batches. As we speak, some people feel that they need to be given an opportunity. They have not been given yet. But all in all, I think that we stood for a cause that was just, a cause that was good for this country. There was every indication that the MPP and President Akufo-Addo was on a course to rip off this nation totally. And we have done that. 1 year down the line, Ghana is a stabilized society of unism. At least the MPP people are not running helter-skelter. We don't feel that there's a small group of family that want to capture this nation. At least journalists are not crying in this country because you are being cajoled to toe government agenda. People can speak. You have people like Abronya who speak the way they want, and they are in Ghana.
Was arrested twice.
They are in Ghana.
And was arrested twice.
All right? You see modest spending, government prioritizing development and growth, responsible governance. Look, there was, when we came to power, Brekusu Road, that's one of Nanado's enclaves. They were awarded that contract only to move the contractor to another place to go and do overland, Atfat overland, and abandon that. The chiefs wrote a petition to my office, and they were trying to get access to the ministry and then the presidency. So when they brought the minister's petition, I didn't even call the minister. I asked my secretary to take it to his office. The following day, the ministry, the whole Rose ministry, went to Brekusu to meet the chiefs. That is the level of agency that ministers of President Mahama attached to national duty. Under President Akufo-Addo, that wasn't the case. And so for me, we thank all of you, Joy FM, your people who stood up to speak out against the ills so that we can save this country. We salute all of them. Now, on OSP and all of the Martin Kpebu...
Maybe before OSP, I think we summon the weight of history to sprinkle a good house of commendation on His Excellency Dr. Bawumia for conceding defeat.
No.
Exactly a year.
No.
But why are you saying
No. You see...
But that's a feat a lot of people have applauded.
That act is
applaud
more...
what? Who applauded him? For what?
Mustafa, that act was and still more than its weight in gold.
Is there a provision in our laws that allows a defeated candidate to have any concession? You are defeated, you are defeated.
Let him land.
If you are defeated, you are defeated.
You are only encouraging him to talk.
You are now going to be president. You contest elections. Wait, I have been in election. He contested elections. And I'm saying that there's nowhere in the provisions of election where a defeated candidate has any right to concession.
Your point. Let him make his. Mr. Money, make your point.
I've said it and the best repeating. That singular act, it was and still is more than its weight in gold as far as elections in this country are concerned.
President Mahama considered defeat. President Mahama considered defeat in 2020.
Which patriotism?
They lost. Their rigging machine, their rigging system they put together in South Africa and Ghana crashed. That is why he considered. They put systems to rig the election and it crashed.
Allow him to
before he did that, tensions were...
Which tension? There was no tension anywhere. There was no tension anywhere. 2020, Samia Uku and Co moved people. President Mahama considered defeat. There was no tension anywhere.
So that adds is the high
voltage. I think it's best you let him land so we can all have our time.
No, I disagree. I disagree. There was no tension. Let's state the facts.
Don't worry.
There was no tension in this country after December 7th. Apart from what Prophet Kusi Wate had prophesied.
But you are changing, you used to be very nice.
Because you see, when it comes to certain issues, they get jittery. Why they get jittery, I don't even get it.
So whether my brother disagrees or not, Dr. Bawumia has etched his name in history.
That's what?
For what he did, which is tension. Tension was sky high. The high voltage tensions reduced dramatically.
President Mahama hasn't ended that history.
Oh, Mr. Gone.
We are talking about acts.
Monday, please.
Okay. So history will forever remember him for what he did exactly a year ago. How the result went is another matter for under discussion. But Ghanaians are appreciative. History is appreciative of what Dr. Bawumia did exactly a year ago.
You see, like my brother is saying,
Mr. President.
concession in election around the world is one of the most dignifying acts of an opponent to concede. Even in the US, there were instances where the losing opponent refused to concede. And when you refuse to concede, the process still is ongoing. You remember that Al Gore Bush. Conceding is very, very important in election because it now officially ends the election. When the opponent does not concede, you know, in 2012, they never conceded.
Wow.
In 2016, and in one of the elections, up to today, they never conceded.
That is false.
Hold on. I can't remember, but in one of the elections, they never conceded.
Because the law doesn't provide that election to go and concede. That's not the law.
Maybe I'm getting...
Well, they went to court on
yes, 2020. Yes, 2020.
The concession is not in the law.
So 2020 election, they never conceded. And as long as there isn't a concession, when somebody has not conceded, right, it means that the election process is still sort of quote unquote.
No.
No, I'm just saying, or the EC announces the election,
yes,
then the election is ended. But when we say that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and say, good morning with your good work that you're doing in the northern part of the country, let's not take away the feat that my brother talks about. In the morning of the Sunday, as he clearly puts it, there was tension in the country. Because a day after election, there's always tension.
There was not.
There's always tension across the country.
There was not.
Because you see, what they were doing across the country, and in hindsight, that is why even some of our members are saying that doctor's announcement may be premature. Because bear in mind, some parliamentary candidates were in a heated elections where it was being fully contested, that the Pandai, Patrick Bome's constituency, Ablekumanov, all these constituencies had taken a break to come back in the morning to continue. Because Doctor, in basically trying to now say that, look, let's not go through this process to create unnecessary tension, I have conceded, gave them that undue advantage to rush into most of these. It's true, the videos are there. In Pandai, your pickups, 6 pickups, we can show the video, moved to the coalition center and basically threw out everything. The Ghana must go bags, everything was thrown out, right? In Bandai. But we can play the video for you to see. Yes, Bandai, we can play the video for you to see. When in the morning after declaration, your people took pickups, bussed people to where the election results are, and destroyed. We can show the
reporters were there. That's not true. The man is not
so can we show the video?
Okay,
so we'll show the video. We'll show the video. When the NDC pickups went there to basically disturb everything, we'll show the video.
But the facts before the court is saying that the presiding officer decided that he was not going to continue the process.
What I'm saying is that there was a break.
So what you are saying,
the reason, even the judgment, I think, allude to the fact that some of the pinks also were.
My brother, we'll show the video.
In absence
I'm going to send the videos to your producer. They will show the video. When in the morning, the NDC pickups went and basically destroyed everything.
The man doesn't have election experience. Look, when you have finished voting and you have counted, you have counted from polling stations, it is on the process of collation.
Your people went and destroyed.
Pink sheet is not in the equation. Pink sheet after election, polling station, you have counted at the capital.
But isn't that what they take to the coalition?
I'm saying that coalition, you can't, they didn't.
I'm sending the videos to your producers. Let them show the video.
It's Lausu constituency. They went and there was ballot papers destroyed. But the Electoral Commission officers have their collated, results. The MPP had their pink sheets. The NDC had their pink sheet. In this guy, what did they call? Another Press constituency. He led military people to go and destroy pink sheets. Even that.
Okay.
Even that.
All right.
Even that. There was declaration.
I'm sending the video to the producer. Can they please help us show the video? I think it's only fair that we show this video for Ghanaians.
We can continue to show video.
No, but it's only fair for Ghanaians. It's only fair for Ghanaians to show these videos. And I'm saying that
Ghanaians have seen a lot of these videos.
No. But this one is in context. My brother, I beg you. My brother is here.
Yeah.
I'm making a submission. He's denying it. I'm saying that I'm giving 2 sides to a story. One side is that it was a good thing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia did.
Okay.
But they took advantage of that and basically created mayhem on Ghanaians and basically did things that were untoward. And to say that this video, if your producer will show them, will prove that they were the ones who now basically took undue advantage of that early concession speech, which was a good thing for national democracy.
Right.
So look, at the end of the day, we'll give, as we give, they talk about the year, but when we get into, we will dissect the 1 year of unnecessary reset, the 1 year of unnecessary bastardization, the 1 year, we'll talk about all that when we get there.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Bande, let's start the OSP discussion.
OSP, I have been monitoring this conversation for some time, and I feel that, you see, nobody in the NDC is after the OSP's job. The OSP law was put in place under President Akufo-Addo. So invariably, the OSP is one of the only officers, state institutions that was set up, and the new government have not touched it because it's a constitutional body. There's no cause for any interference. The OSP has been given, I think the last time I saw the financial allocations, Minister Tuforsen have probably allocated more money to the OSP than the previous regimes have done. There's one thing. There's a certain perception out there that the OSP's office is not functioning as Ghanaians want to see. Okay? Don't forget that even though I'm an officer of government and a party officer who believes that there was some wrongdoing, the MPP ministers must be arrested for that wrongdoing. I also fear if the institutions that will fight these things are not up and doing. For example, this whole Martin and if OSP was up and doing to bring Kenoforiata, who is by national consensus wanted by the people of Ghana. Okay? Look, one of the things Ghanaians are holding and are going to hold this government responsible on is our ability to bring people to accountability. And I dare say that if you have stolen state money, you don't have business walking on the streets. And the dangerous thing is that we still have some of these people walking on the street with the stolen money. If you've gone and put 78 charges on one man, please, what the ordinary Ghanaian who doesn't understand law?
78 charges are not on one man.
I'm saying that
he and I think
saying that even the number of charges. You see, the MPP wants to make sure that no institution that will fight and apprehend them is functioning. Okay, that is what, because they know they are wanted species.
The MPP
they are wanted species.
No, running the country.
Let me learn. And I'm saying that the OSP, there's a perception out there that the way Ghanaians want to see him functioning, so far, in my opinion, I have seen considerable amount of effort from Iyoku trying to fight corruption. In as much as possible, I can say that today, corruption is an endangered species. Because sitting here, I know that if I go and steal money, there will be some amount of national scrutiny that will be brought upon me. If my brother have stolen some money, there will be some sort of national uproar that will come against him as compared to President Akufo-Addo's regime, where the presidency was an enabler, it was an insurance to corruption. It actually created and dissipated it to the rest, distributed it to the rest of the officers below. So the OSP must be up and doing. I don't think it's the objective of the NDC to get rid of the OSP. If the OSP should be worried, he should be worried that under President Akufo-Addo's regime, there were several assassination attempts on his life.
Oh, but
yes.
I've seen people questioning that.
Yes.
Those assassination attempts, which police station did he ever report to?
Why would he report?
Why would he report?
No, listen. When MPP was in power, certain things happened to me that I don't have to report.
Then it's not true.
An officer of the government, a lot of things happen. It's your discretion to want to report a matter.
If there was an assassination attempt on your life, you won't report it?
Well, so that is why I think that the OSP have the support of the people of Ghana. He should go after them.
But did he
Let's go
report it?
after.
It's not true. It was never assassination.
That is your opinion. I'm saying
but
that
he never reported it.
I'm
So
setting
it's not
it.
true.
I'm setting
On
it
record,
straight.
It's not true.
I'm setting it straight that
But
the NDC
have reporting it. That's not.
But
No,
it has never been.
that is
Delay,
MPP's.
it has never been reported.
Let them continue.
So there's no delay.
Let them
It has never
continue.
been
Let the
reported.
MPP.
So it is not true.
Let the MPP continue to argue.
That's okay. That's okay.
Let them argue. But I'm saying that it is left for the OSP. It's recorded here that you, representing the MP, I didn't see you in government, so you are not part of the people. You are a fine gentleman. Now, it is you saying that the OSP's claim that there were assassination on him is not reported to the police, so it's not true. That is it. I'll leave it there. But I'm saying that the OSP have the support of the people of this country to go after anyone who was involved in corruption, including MPP people, our own people. If anybody gets into corruption, he should arrest that person. If he is not seen doing that, it is not just a worry. It's a national failure. Because people want to see appointees of President Akufo-Addo who have dissipated national resources. Anytime I think about PDS, I get sick. Anytime I think about the Ajapadia document that you people are denying, but the elements of execution is there, I get sick. the Ajapa deal itself, okay, go to Ministry of Transport, the Bonkra project is thinking. You allow these people to be walking on the street and they are sitting in parliament and making noise. There's no better institution that can fight corruption as it stands than the OSP, because he is seen as a very neutral institution. If you put Mustafa to go and arrest my brother here, they will say, NDC General Secretary, Deputy General Secretary have been asked to go and arrest MPP person. It's wrong. Morally, ethically, it's wrong. The OSP is an independent institution. The OSP is neutral. I do not know him to be NDC. I do not know him to be MPP. I may be afraid that he was appointed and set up by President Akufo-Addo. But we support him. We would support him to arrest people and see them go to court.
So you're not part of those who say that?
No NDC. I mean, the people are peeved because we don't see him up and doing. The danger I'm saying is that the criminals are still walking on the streets. And what they have stolen, they will use it to compromise the system. And I'm saying it that there was looting against this country. There was, an ethical dissipation of public resources in this country. And people must be arrested. Go to Rose Ministry. Rose Ministry, where it's mentioned that people have used certificates, fake certificates, to claim money for work that they have not done. The MPP should shut up. They should keep quiet.
Do you believe in the $40,000?
Wait. I'm coming. I'll get there. This matter
with London so that I can.
This matter at Ministry of Health, where an individual is keeping our data, and for some reasons his contract has been terminated and he's blackmailing. I've given this one money. This is nonsense. We must get serious in this country. After money, is that the nation you want to build? But that we see, we know that
this is not an NDC propaganda platform.
No, I'm just telling you.
This is not an NDC propaganda platform.
I am saying
this
that.
Is propaganda.
I am saying
These
that
things you are doing is propaganda.
No, we sat in this country. We sat in this country, and they told us
you
they are building dams.
Spew all these things without
any state money.
You don't have any basis to say these things.
Where are the dams? Where are the dams? We sat in this country. They brought
Mustafa, hold on.
Where is
you are saying things without any basis
from AU? They were borrowing maize without paying, and they instituted planting for food and jobs and spent the national money.
I think you guys will have to send the bill to NDC for this propaganda platform. You have to sell the bill to them.
They are here. Ghana money was used to construct dams.
Bro, we came to have a conversation. Let's have that conversation. I don't think this is the NDC platform.
I think that the limbs,
the Martin Kpebu issue, we are over prioritizing it. At the end of the day, it does not inure to the expectation of the people of Ghana. Okay? And I think that I will plead of the OSP, these perception out there must be dealt with. His office must be up and running. He has the support of the people of Ghana. It doesn't matter whether NDC supports him or not. It doesn't matter whether government supports him or not. He is clothed with the authority to act. Let him act. If he does that and anybody is going after him.
Mustafa, I am grateful. Thank you.
These people sitting there and trying to say that that is going after him.
Thank you very much. I'll come to you.
Okay.
I'll come to you. But on limbs, we were given education here on the show that the data was sitting with the Ghana Health Service, not an individual. So that's what I wanted to correct. But let me bring in Manasseh Azurawini, who's been doing a lot of work on the OSP and in fact, on corruption in the country, not on the OSP. He's been working on corruption in this country and petitioning the OSP on what is to be done.
And he should be applauded for doing that.
Exactly. One of it, he says,
he's been working more than the OSP.
He says, if you knew the full details of how the OSP is making the PPA CEO scandal a quote and unquote foolish case, you would understand why I'm being openly critical of that office. And he has brought a lot of things that he and his former workplace, Fourth Estate, have petitioned the OSP on that they've not seen many action. Manasseh, good morning to you and thanks for joining us here. On this Martin Kpebu latest allegation, is there any weight to it? Is there something we can hold on to say this could be believable?
Well, I have heard people say things, but I would want to speak to what I can support with evidence. So I would, for now, plead with you that I don't want to comment on
that. Okay.
Something I don't have the full facts to.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's then talk about your matters with the OSP. You seem to suggest that the OSP hasn't been working, because in one of your posts you even say the EOCO which you petitioned later than the time you petitioned OSP has even gone further than what the OSP has done. So what makes you have that particular drive on what the OSP has been doing?
Okay, this EOCO and oral thing I referenced was the fourth estate's petition on the national service scandal. In 2024. They sent the petition to the OSP, and then they didn't see any action. And when oral started, they sent that same petition to oral. And then oral through EOCO has done some thorough investigations, and people are in court. And the question I'm asking is, the OSP was set up because we believe that would be an independent institution, something that we could trust more than the politicians. So if oral, which is a political promise, is preferred to OSP in this instance of the fourth estate petition on the national service scandal, then it raises questions. Prior to that, I have had my own concerns with the OSP, and it's the reason I made that post, and I'm actually writing a longer piece detailing everything. So maybe I'm giving the full details here for the first time on your show.
Okay.
In 2019, I did a documentary titled Contracts for Sale. And in this documentary, the CEO of the PPA, Ejenim Boateng, had companies that got government contracts and sold them to private individuals. I got an undercover agent who was able to get evidence to that effect. 2 days after the documentary aired, President Akufo-Addo suspended the PPA CEO and wrote to the OSP and then Shraj to investigate and possibly prosecute the case. Shraj completed its report, the first report in 2020, because Ghana Integrity Initiative also petitioned Shraj to look at conflict of interest and other matters involving the board. When Shraj completed its report, President Akufo-Addo went ahead and dismissed Mr. Ejenim Boateng from office. And then it was left to the OSP. I first was called to the OSP under Martin Kpebu's time, and I supported them with what I had. But eventually, Martin Kpebu released a statement later saying that the investigators on the case had been compromised. So not much happened. But before he left office, the Auditor General helped him go through the man's bank accounts, and then they discovered, as Martin Kpebu published, $4.5 million in cash lodgements into his account. And within the period, he couldn't have made up to $200,000 even from his salaries. Then there was another 15 million Ghana cedis. All these monies were paid in cash, and then 54,000 euros. That was where it was before Martin Kpebu left. The accounts were frozen. But between when Martin Kpebu took office and when Kesi Ejabin started, the man went to court and had the court lift the freezing order, and all the funds were cleared. In my interaction with the current Special Prosecutor, he mentioned that even before he assumed office, he tried to get FIC to place another freezing order when the OSP's freezing order was expiring and the man hadn't been charged. But that didn't happen, so all the funds in the accounts were cleared. But that does not mean that you cannot trace the money, you cannot trace assets, or you cannot charge for other offenses once you establish corruption. That has not been done. But my worry stems from how this case has traveled. This is a 2019 story that was referred to the president, the OSP. And as we speak, the case hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
And here are the issues. The case was filed in May 2022, June 2022. And by December 2022, I started to be the witness. I was the first prosecution witness for the state. I was cross-examined for almost a year and a half, from December 2022 to April 2024. There were two sets of lawyers. ABAJ was charged, and then his brother-in-law, who ran the company, was also charged. So I was cross-examined by the two sets of lawyers. In the course of this case, we realized that the OSP did not submit the documentary contracts for sale, which was a key component of the case, because the entire case was built on that documentary. The court had admitted that documentary in evidence. So why did the OSP not submit it? They said that there was a mix-up in the pen drive, and that was why the documentary was not submitted. So later on, when we detected this and they filed to submit it, of course, ABAJ's lawyers opposed it. Fortunately, the court ruled in favor of the OSP and readmitted the contracts for sale documentary in evidence. Then I was called again to be cross-examined because the new evidence had been introduced. After my cross-examination, I was told that the next person to be serve as a witness for the OSP or the state was the investigator from Shraj, who also worked on the case after my documentary. Then the next thing I heard was that the case was discontinued. The charges were dropped, meaning all the work we had done in court for 2 years had come to zero. Then in October this year, specifically on the 8th of October, I got a notification from the Office of the Special Prosecutor that trial for the case is about to begin, and I'm supposed to appear in court as a witness. And this is a case that I had already gone to serve as a witness, cross-examined for a year and a half. My time, the resources to court and back, everything borne by me. So I was not comfortable, so I needed to ask questions. I first demanded to have the old charge sheet and the new charge sheet. And I compared the charges on the new charge sheet and those of the old charge sheet. And one thing I realized was that all the charges the OSP refiled were already in the old charge sheet or the old case that was dropped. There isn't a single case or charge that is here that was not there. So the question is, why was the charge sheet not amended, but you had to drop it? Because you are not filing any new charges and the particulars of offense remain the same. So why not just amend, but you are dropping? So I called the director of prosecution at the OSP for an explanation, and his explanation was that much work was done by way of investigation, and they discovered more evidence. So I asked, what is the nature of this evidence? He said more funds were uncovered. And because I knew how much was uncovered in Martin Kpebu's time, I asked for the specifics. And he said he didn't have the docket in front of him, so I should speak to the lawyer handling the case. I spoke to the lawyer handling the case, and it emerged that no new funds were actually found. Then also, I realized that a very important charge had been dropped against ABAJ. And this charge relates to, there are two sets of charges in the case. There are a number of charges that relate to using public office for profit, and then some charges relating to influencing the procurement process. So under influencing the procurement process, if you read the Shraj report which the OSP tendered as part of his evidence, there was a contract in the northern region town of Saviligu, and some two companies were or had the similar details. So the PPA board said that those companies should be replaced in the restricted tendering process for that lot. So let the process continue subject to the replacement of those companies. And then the CEO who was supposed to oversee that allowed one of the companies to stay. That company went ahead to win the contract. And that company is his company. So the Shraj report says this is a case of altering the decision of the board to favor his company, which is more direct than any of the charges. That charge was dropped. The director of prosecution at the OSP could not give me a response because he didn't have the docket as we were speaking. And when I spoke to the lawyer handling the case, she said, well, she met this case midway. Yes. And so she was working with what she had. And I said, well, I spoke to Shraj and they said beyond the report, they sent 3 boxes of evidence to the OSP. And in this particular charge, Shraj did not just state, Shraj quoted the letters, board minutes, and everything in the report. It is one case that occupies a chunk of the Shraj investigative report. She said, well, if there was that evidence, then those who were there before her could perhaps have kept it. After some time, I was getting convinced that the OSP was not serious enough with fighting this case, because even if you look at the charges against Mustafa Hamid, you would realize that the OSP said, I think they found some 15 million cedis in his account. And according to my sources, this was money within a period that did not match with his earnings. So the OSP charged him with money laundering. But if you come to the PPA CEO, which the OSP itself found $4.5 million and then 15 million cedis. If you put that together, you're talking about over 60 million Ghana cedis in someone's account, when within the period a person couldn't have made 1 million even from his salary.
So Manasseh, what are you suspecting and what do you want done?
Well, in this case, the OSP did not touch on this amount. There isn't anything like a charge. If you look at the entire charge sheet, that money found in ABAJ's account is missing. And if you read the Shraj report, they asked him how he came by that money. And the Shraj report said his excuse was that one of his companies, a water producing company, didn't have an account, a bank account. So proceeds from that company was paid into his account. The question is, why the cash? And 2, the company in question was formed in 2019, but these monies kept coming or started coming in 2017 and 2018 up to 2019. So the Shraj report actually lays bare that, look, this is money that could not be explained. So after everything, I was convinced that the office was not interested or committed to prosecuting this case. So on the 27th of October, I requested the email address of the Director of Prosecution of the OSP. And my intention was to write to him and tell him I am not testifying again. I've already spent 1.5 years testifying and being cross-examined. You quash the case. All the filings I've seen, there's no single new charge, not even the particulars of offense, but the case is rather weaker than you initially had it. Then someone suggested that for the sake of relationship, before you send this email, just let Kissie Jabin, who is the special prosecutor, know what you intend to do. So I called Kissie Jabin and told him, and he asked me to hold on and give him 2 weeks, and that he would come back and address the concerns I had. But before that, I shouldn't take any action. And of course, I didn't. I gave him the 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks, he called back, but without answers to the questions I raised about why the case was dropped, why that particular charge was dropped, why the man hadn't been charged in any offense relating to the funds and everything. So a month later, Kisei Jabin told me that, look, he still did not have answers. And I asked, so when can you give me answers? He said he couldn't give me timelines.
Okay, but answer, so with what you know and with everything that has happened in the last few months, what is your suggestion of the way forward, or what the way forward should be for the OSP? Not the SP, but the office itself.
I sincerely believe that we need an independent office to prosecute corruption. I said on Newsfile on Saturday, however, that as I stand or sit here today and knowing what I know, if I were a corrupt person, I would fear Oral and Iyoko more than the OSP. Because this is just one example of a case that is less complex than the SML thing. 2019, since that office was petitioned till date, nothing much has really happened. And Sami Darko has written on Facebook confirming that the OSP did not do any investigation on its own, criminal investigation, before proceeding to court with that case. Kisei Jabin also told me when I spoke to him that the OSP went to court on my investigation, that of the Shraj. And because he has now told me he's ordered a new investigation and could possibly even withdraw the case that is in court and file again, it suggests that even after filing the second time, no proper investigation was done. So if this case is taking this long, and it's not because ABAG's lawyers are frustrating the case, it is not because the court is frustrating the case, it is because the OSP itself is frustrating the case, then this does not show enough seriousness to the fight against corruption. So my suggestion, or if I had my way, the office should be kept. But we shouldn't take these excuses that are coming from Kisei Jabin and the OSP. Oh, Ken Oforiatta's cousin was in office, so we couldn't do much and all of that. This office was set up not only to look at post-regime accountability. If that's the case, then Oral and others, the Attorney General is doing that. Are we going to say that the government will change hands one day and the OSP will be telling us, so we had this case, we couldn't act because this person was close to President Mahama or that? If these excuses, which are now turning the office of the Special Prosecutor into an office of special excuses, are allowed to continue, I bet you will continue to spend so much money in this office, and it would end up being a drain on the national coffers without any impact. So if we will continue with this office, then we should do away with these excuses.
Not the SP, but the excuses.
Well, people have petitioned. If there are legitimate reasons for his removal, every public official should be accountable to the people, including those who are supposed to demand accountability on our behalf. They should even be held to higher standards. So if there are legitimate reasons for his removal, why not?
Manasseh, I'm grateful to you for your time and the things you've shared with us on the show. Manasseh Azurawene is an investigative journalist. Let me come to you, Kojo Oku. I mean, you've listened to him. You've also gotten aware of the issues in Ghana, the OSP and matters. Where should we go from here?
Well, my brother, look, I want to say that the OSP, Martin, has alleged that there's a certain amount of money who he alleges must prove. So Martin should take the necessary proof through the petition and let that process take its course. You know, my brother Mustafa Bandi mentioned that there are criminals walking the streets. Yes, there are criminals in the NDC walking the streets. I, Kojo Poku, have petitioned the OSP in 2022. You know the Kroll report? Did you ever hear about that report? Kroll. Safo company, Kroll. They came into Ghana, did a very extensive investigation on this company called LNR. LNR was a company that was given some $54 million from ECG for a contract that was done in 2015-2016. Monies were disbursed on 22nd December 2016 when the NDC had lost election. Crow did an extensive investigation, found certain individuals, showed their roommates, showed accounts that the money was in, some NDC Western Region chairman who was involved with companies, names, addresses, everything, comprehensive document. I, Kojo Poku, put a letter on top of that document and petitioned the OSP. Up to today, nothing. So let's not come all of a sudden and make it look like the OSP is going after this, is going after this. I, Kojo Poku, have said a lot of things about the OSP and said that what is the modus operandi? Do we do petition and they investigate, or they just sit there and decide which cases they think they want to do? Right? All these issues of people coming in and trying to make it like all of a sudden corruption is only in the left. Corruption is both in the left and in the right. The OSP, the number of cases that has gone to the special prosecutor that he has not looked into, numerous. He picks and chooses what he wants to do. But you see, when we mention that, we make it look like it's only one person. There is an office of special prosecutor, and that office has a lot of people. God knows what they are doing in there. You know, when I first wrote to the OSP, he even told me he didn't have a letterhead. Later, he got this shiny letterhead and replied my letter saying that, oh, he will look into it. As I speak to you today, nothing. This same Martin Kpebu, no, Kisi.
It was OSP?
Yes, OSP. This same Martin Kpebu who has a problem. I was with him on City. I brought up this same issue. I was like, oh, you know, Kojo, send me a copy. I'll get Kisi to look into it. Up to today, still nothing. So, my brother, that office for me, there is CID. If we resource the police CID well, they can do investigations. My brother is talking about a lot of things that is only NDC propaganda that has not been investigated. They said there were thumbprints that they did there. There were rigging machines and mentioned Reverend Kusibuati.
But that has nothing to do with
If those things, no, but he's talking about them. If those things had merits, if those things have merits, why have they been investigated? If those things have merit, why is it in court after 1 year? My problem is that the CID is capable of doing work. The CID is capable of investigation. The AG office is capable of prosecuting.
So you were not in favor of the OSP?
Well, the OSP for me, after 1.6 billion dollars, 1.6 billion Ghana cedis, what have we gotten for 1.6 billion? In the length of time it's been established, looking at the appropriation that has gone to the office, what have we gotten for it? And whenever he does presentations, right, he sounds like somebody's after him. He's not being given this. The courts are against him. No, that office is not a law unto itself. It's an investigative body. And he has to investigate, present your case to a court of competent jurisdiction, and the court will rule. The OSP, and that is where, for me, Martin's case is funny. Because everything Martin Kpebu is saying has been said by people who have already been to OSP. The harassment, these bail conditions that seem to be the order of the day when people are being given on unreasonable bail conditions. How can you invite somebody to come and help you with an investigation? The person goes in there, from what Martin is saying, he only went out to grant an interview, comes back, oh, you're under arrest, and he has to now provide property for bail. Why? What is the crime? If you are talking about obstruction, is obstruction a crime for you to now ask for bail condition where it has to be a property? That is the harassment. And my brother talks about press freedom in 1 year. Are we not in this country where bloggers on social media are being arrested and harassed and charged to court? So please, let's not use this platform this morning as a platform. Please, let me finish. Let's not use this platform as an NDC propaganda platform. I know my brother wants to be able to say certain things about what the NDC have achieved. We are looking at them. In fact, I, Kojo Poku, don't have to say much because the Ghanaian who is at the brunt of this thing knows better.
Okay, all right, thank you. Mr. Moni, what do you see is the biggest challenge confronting the OSP and the work they do, which is now attracting these criticisms that we're hearing?
Ojo, it is common knowledge that OSP stands accused of being rich in spectacle, but poor in delivery. So the concern with people who share this view is that Ghana as a nation is not getting value for money as far as the OSP is concerned. I've listened to all views being bandied about as far as the issue of whether to maintain or to scrap OSP is concerned. I've listened to CDD. I've analyzed the comments by people who share the view of CDD. And this morning, I read with all-absorbing attention and all-consuming seriousness the position of former Speaker of Parliament, Michael Kpebu.
Professor Michael Kpebu.
Prof is a seasoned lawyer, tried, tested, experienced statesman, and his comments should not be taken for granted. And he is of the strong view that the establishment of that office is a duplication, and that the time has come for Ghana as a nation to do away with this office. So this reinforces the need to take a hard and long look at that office and see whether it's fulfilling the mandate for which it was established, and whether Ghana as a nation is yielding dividend as far as that office is concerned. So I don't have a position now, but I think
but he was a Speaker of Parliament when
he was the Speaker of Parliament when the bill came and the President assented to that bill. Mm-hmm. And
wouldn't he have taken that position then?
The former Egyptian Prime Minister Boutros Boutros-Ghali once said, "It's only a foolish man who doesn't change his mind."
Okay.
Maybe he's changed his mind, or maybe when the bill was brought, he didn't allow his personal view, personal position to interfere with that bill. Now he's gone back, so he can take a holistic and realistic view of this situation. So as a nation, this is a time for us, come together, devoid of political perspectives. Let's put on nationalistic lenses to examine, scrutinize whether Ghana as a nation deserves this office called Special Prosecutor.
Okay, but if you listen to the former speaker, he says, and I quote, "How can an office accused of corruption investigate the person making the allegation? The Special Prosecutor cannot be the judge in his own case. This is inconsistent with the rule of law." Doesn't it deal more with systems rather than probably the inefficiencies or the ineffectiveness of the system of the office itself?
As young as I am, and I have always said that standing here, I think that the Ghanaian systems have problems, and that at every point in time, governance and government systems must work seamlessly without any obstruction. And people must be seen being professional when they are given a job to do. Now, I am happy that the OSP is not in public singing Ankwa Noma Part 2, that anybody in the NDC or under President Mahama is obstructing him from doing his work. And I am also happy that the OSP is not out there saying that Ghanaians are obstructing him from doing his work. The institution of the OSP, for me, I hold a view that it's such a sensitive and an all-time important institution that must exist. An independent individual pursue corruption. It doesn't matter who is involved, you have to do that. Scrapping it, I doubt if President Mahama, I do not know his position, I doubt if he would get into the temptation of scrapping
But MPs have come out to support
the institution of the OSP. That is also under separation of power. They have the right. They passed the bill. They put in place the OSP. President Mahama and government didn't put together the OSP. But I think that it has been an institution of national interest. As we stand, all the windows of escape for all related corruption matters stands with the OSP. If the Attorney General, who is clothed with all these powers to do whatever he has to do as far as prosecution and chasing corrupt individuals are concerned, were to be obstructing the OSP from doing his work, it's another matter. That is not the case. So really, it's about who occupies an institution. And I'm saying that if I were the OSP, I'll save myself. I'll really save myself by doing my work. As it stands now, his problem with the people of Ghana, not government, not the NDC, but the people of Ghana had to do with people within government who are concerned. There are two societies here. People who are beneficiaries of corrupt proceeds and people who want to see corruption being fought at. Those who want to see corruption believe that the OSP must just be up and doing. That is what my brother said. How can you file a petition and about 4 years down the line, you sit there and you take salary, you take budget, you use bulletproof cars. In fact, even if you were supposed to be assassinated, the people who wanted to assassinate you in their government, they bought you bulletproof cars. You have no excuse. The job must be done. We can't fail the people of Ghana. We want to see people being investigated and sent to court. That is why our judges are there. We want to see, look, anybody who has stolen because he or she had a privilege to serve in an office is equivalent to somebody stealing a goat or an armed robber holding a gun. And I say this with passion because I have an appreciation of poverty. I know how these things affect people. Go to hospitals and see the number of people who are dying because of systems. Go to the villages and see the poor people who still drink with cattle. And then when you do that, then you come to question that we don't have Togolese in government, we don't have Nigerians in government, we are all Ghanaians. When something is wrong, it is wrong, it has to be dealt with. Yeah. It doesn't, and President Mahama have said it severally. Recently, he said something very profound, that war betides any appointee of his regime. Who will be the first to announce or to be involved?
But there's been a first, you guys let it go.
Scandal.
There was the one giving the $10,000 in public. You guys didn't do anything about it.
Corruption scandal. And I think that 1 year down the line of President Mahama's regime, today you see newspapers, there's no corruption scandal. Hey, under Nanado, it was a video. You remember the road minister? Get up, get up, get up. Let's run. Year of road. It was all settings. All right? Every year, Koto Minister for Agric. Old man, he was walking about and holding plantain sackers, telling people planting for food and job. Beneath the table, they were borrowing maize.
I keep saying that this is not the NDC propaganda platform. Please.
Didn't you borrow corn?
Thank you.
Didn't you borrow corn? Ask him.
Do we want to turn this show into NDC?
Didn't you borrow corn?
Hold on.
Didn't they borrow corn?
In 2017, in the first year of Nanado, was there a corruption scandal somewhere?
I have not researched on that this morning. But I'm saying that
because you are doing the 1 year.
Look, I'm saying that Nanado's regime,
the entire regime,
was a crime scene.
But why won't you wait for yours to end?
Why don't you wait for yours to end before we cannot?
It is not something we should be fanciful about.
Okay.
It's something we should pray that the Holy Spirit will lead every single appointee to give fidelity to national service. That we are serving our nation, we are building a nation. It is temptation that makes young men believe that they must enrich themselves than what they have. That's why I think God is even angry. Look at the young man President Akufo-Addo appointed. Look, there is no legacy attached to any of them. They wear suit around and making noise. They cannot tout any single legacy of relevance to this country after being ministers. All they do is to sit in parliament, and they are trying to use the media to whitewash themselves. I see my colleagues from the other side in parliament, President Akufo-Addo was that was a rogue regime.
Hold on.
That entire regime was national fraud.
President
Akufo-Addo's regime, fraud wasn't working. This country, you fleeced that, caused pain, destroyed businesses, took people's properties destroyed it. If you talk, they
Bande.
go after you. That is what we experienced 8
Why?
years.
Bande,
8 years
hold on.
of national rigging.
Be frank with me. Do you want me to leave the show to you to run?
No, please.
Then listen to me.
Because I haven't been.
Who is in charge?
Then listen to me, Bande.
The MPP should keep quiet. You see? They don't have
We are in a democracy. Everyone has a right to free speech.
They've been direct
Hold on.
democracy. My father's party, Kojopoku, your
Yes.
people, expose them.
We know that the president has received some petitions. From where you sit, from all that we all know. What's your expectation? What do you think will be the likely
Well,
results?
I've always said that the can has been opened. We've had the CJ removed. We've had EC removed before. And the Pandora's box is opened. Now, when these petitions are made, it goes to the CJ. He sets up a panel to investigate, right? So we are going to sit back and look at the processes in which these petitions will go through. But, you see, it sort of gives you this sort of an automatic conveyor belt that when these things are sent, normally it's an orchestration and it ends in a certain... But in mind, look, if Kisi is removed, I will share no tear. If Jane Mensah is removed, I will share no tear. You understand? Because, like I said, I'm not a fan of Kisi. Because for what I gave him, right? For what I gave him, that he did not act on. And I've gotten various people to talk to him. Still nothing. I cannot be a fan of him. So if he's removed, I will share no tear.
Okay.
Jane Mensah, for what he did in Ablekumanov and all these things, he went and pleased the piper, and the piper is now sending him to the gallows. I will share no tear. So let's leave it and see what the process ends up with.
All right. Thank you very much.